Alright, welcome back to Shaving with Fuzzy. I'm Fuzzy. Hi y'all. So it's a Sunday afternoon and we're going to work Sunday night, and then I think we got a couple of days off is what the schedule says. We worked, let's see, Friday night. So we off Saturday night, so it's like we already had 2 days off. Pretty neat how that schedule works sometimes. But there we go. So I've got the Williams mug out. Yes, I do. You notice that it's Sunday, but we got the Williams mug. But there's a reason for that. Reason is today we're using vintage Williams. This is our little old Foley scuttle here, and I'm not going to get a whole lot into scuttles today. That's not today's thing. It is Sunday, so it is Spicy Sunday. Normally I would have went ahead and used either the vintage Old Spice soap or Sterling Spice, but we're going to make up for it by using actual Old Spice aftershave. And the razor for today is going to be a 1912 that's on a handle that was turned by Patrick, also known as 999, 999, however you want to say it, from up in Canada. If you see him on the webs, it's 999. You'll see him sometimes make comments here. Buddy of mine up in Canada turned my handle. Not only did he turn that handle, but he also turned a couple brush handles. So as I've been saying, we finally got it done. We got the knot set, ready to go. Now all I've done to it is wash it out with some hand soap, and it's got the little funky gaminess that you get when you have a natural brush. This is a Maggards 7030 boar, Badger boar. It's a mix. First time I've used one of these. I'm really looking forward to see how it does with Williams. I'm sure it'll do fine. The handle, as you can see, is just gorgeous. It's got the texture along the top there, and he made matching handles. He's got a synthetic in his. I just couldn't get on the synthetic bandwagon. Thought I was going to be able to. Matter of fact, I've got several synthetic brushes around here, and I just can't get on the synthetic bandwagon as much as some people. Now I can still use them. They work, and they're good for travel razors. They really are, because they dry quicker and they're not going to have all the mildew problems and mold problems. I understand all that. But anyway, I washed it out with some hand soap. Now, people ask, what's the best way to break in a new brush? Some talk about washing it out, putting it in cold water, putting it in the fridge, and let it sit, and doing this and doing that and doing the other. Use it. That is the best way to defunk and break in a brush, is use it. The scent's not going to linger around on your face after you aftershave and everything, and it's really not that bad a deal. Now, I've had some that were pretty funky. You could definitely tell which end of the animal they took the bristle or the hair from. And yeah, I've had it, I've done it, but still, use it. If you want to do some test lathers and doing stuff with hand lathers and things of this nature, great, but use it. It'll clear up. It doesn't take that long. And it's like using witch hazel that's got the little funky base smell to it. It's not that big a deal. All right, so we got a new blade here in the razor already. This is 1912. Jim Jr. These are really easy to find on the like eBay, especially. They're just really easy to find. They're a really good razor, whether you're just getting into this or you're an expert or whatever. They're on the mild side, in my opinion. They're not really that aggressive, but they do a great job. They're cheap. They're abundant. If you don't have a 1912, that's a great way to get started into single edge shaving there. All right, well, we're going to get started into single edge shaving for today, because that's what we came to do. So there we go. All right, so a couple of days off is what it amounted to. Of course, Saturday's not a whole lot going on because you got to sleep after working Friday night. I think I worked 3 nights in a row and took a night off. I don't remember. It all runs together. But anyway, I'm not as used to nights as I used to be. I'm not. And that's okay. It's not a huge deal. But anyway, so Saturday you sleep most of the morning, but it was good. Spent too much money. That's the bad thing about days off. I always spend too much money. And then you got to go back to work and make more money. So, I don't know. We'll see. All right, well, let's try this big old knot out. Now, this is a 26 millimeters. It's a pretty good size knot. And it's the handle fits nicely in the hand. Look at that, Patrick. Man, you talk about you did a good job. So we're going to lather like we always do. I don't know anything about this brush. I don't expect this brush to lather any different from any other brush I have. But we're going to see. So we're going to start out with a dry cake. We don't bloom unless we're planting flowers or planting a garden. The brush is damp, but it's not dripping wet. Matter of fact, it's pretty dry. I shook it out pretty good. And what you want to do is just start on the top of the cake And this works for modern Williams, this works for vintage Williams, this works for pretty much any soap you want to use it on. Hard soap, soft soaps, don't matter. And you're going to start building that paste. And especially using soaps that are somewhat complicated, because I'll admit there's soaps that are complicated. And when you add water, you just barely dip the tips of the brush in the water to add the water just a little bit at a time. And once you get that paste loaded up, that's what you're going to build your lather on your face, because around here we face lather. Bowls are for soup. I know this is the South, you can use bowls for grits too. But, or in other parts of the world, porridge. Okay. Well, anyway, and then as we go, we're just going to add a little water. Now I think that's plenty of soap loaded up. But there are some soaps that are more difficult than others. Marvy's and Scoutmaster. Those two are just absolute monsters. So as we go to put this on the face, we put a little water on it so we get a good lather started, because it does take some water to make lather. Brush has got a good feel to it. It's not overly scritchy. It's not overly soft. It's a very dense feeling brush, just right out of the gate. A little more water. And it's a big brush. It really is. Where do I have? I mean, really, look at the difference of, this is a fuller brush reknotted with an AOS badger. Look at the difference in that. Oh, man, that's a big brush. There's been a trend I've noticed lately on the forums and stuff, people going to the carrier grade, class brushes, they're calling them. And a lot of it are the big synthetics. And I'm not sure the thought process behind that, other than bigger is always better. I've seen people with trucks, that was their theory, bigger is always better. They just get further back in the middle of nowhere before they get stuck, and they got to walk further to get out. That's the way it always looked to me. I always thought that was kind of funny. Then again, I never was a huge, I'm a truck guy, I really am, but I've never been a huge jacked up big tire. Y'all have heard this before. Never been my thing. But, all right. So there we got some vintage Williams on. Brush did a really good job. Feels really good. And we got a brand new carbon steel blade in. It's a street blade. Why do I use street blades? Because I can buy them local. They're at the grocery store here in town, in Baton Rouge. And if you're ever around Baton Rouge, you won't know where it is, let me know. I'll tell you, it's not going to be my secret. That I can drive down and I can walk in and I can buy street razor blades. Either in the 10 blade vault or the 5 blade box. Either one, they got them right there on the shelf. Now I can also go down, and I checked the other day to be sure, the CVS here is still selling their blades. And I think Blade Tech is the one making those, if I remember correctly. But anyway, they're still selling their blades, and they're the stainless blades. Not a big fan of stainless blades. I understand the advantages of stainless blades. You don't have to dry them off. And some people are going to say they last longer, and they probably do. I don't know. I don't count shaves on blades. But, I like carbon steel. I don't mind drying it off after. And it's smooth from the first shave, whereas those stainless, first couple of shaves are pretty rough. And people talk about corking the blade and hand stropping the blade and yada, 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 yada. If I got to put air in the tire every time I go to drive a truck, I'm not going to drive that truck. I'm going to put a tire on that I ain't got to put air in every time. So I use a blade that when I start shaving, I don't have to worry about hand stropping or corking or it being rough. Wasn't a bad analogy, was it? All right. So the first shave over with. And of course, everybody knows how the 1912 shaves, and if you don't, you should. It does good. Well, look at that. Gee whiz. Thing done ate all that lather. Look, there ain't even enough lather left in the brush here to do another round. Man, I was sure I had loaded more. Thing must be a lather eater. That's okay. I'm not complaining. We'll just go right back to the cake here. Doesn't hurt my feelings any. We'll go right back to the cake. I haven't used one of these big brushes, and I hadn't used one of these mixed brushes. So, well, all we gotta do is go back and brush it up a little bit. That ain't no big deal. And I tell people this, people talk about face lather and that you can't get a good lather and you can't get the soap and you can't do this and you can't do that. And I tell them, look, number one, as you get used to it, you learn how how to load the brush so that it's not any issues. And number two, it's not like you go and you put soap on the brush from the cake and then that's it. You can't go back to the cake and do it anymore. Jeez. It's not a one-shot thing. Really not. All right, so there we go. All we wanted was a nice light coating there. It's not a thin coating as far as as far as the lather goes. It's not thin lather, but it is a thinner coat. But that's all we want, especially on the second pass. We don't want too thick, it's just a waste and no need in it. All right. Wow. These 1912s. I use a lot of different razors, but you always come back to the 1912, different models before it's over with. You had Eveready, you had Star, you had the Damascene, which is Jim. You had all these razors that were the 1912 pattern, and there's a reason for that they sold them for so long. Is because really, you see every razor and you say, oh, they could have stopped at this razor and everything would have been great. I think that a lot with the Camp Brothers and stuff. But the 1912s, they really could have, when they got to the 1912 series, they really could have stopped making razors and everybody could have had great shaves. Now, here in America, that's not how we do it. It's always got a bigger, better, faster, higher, whatever. And that's great. I'm not knocking it. That's how it is. But, at some point, you got old guys like me to say, hey, y'all go ahead with all that new stuff. I'm going to stick right back here. Matter of fact, if I could get away with it, I'd still have a flip phone. Fuzzy Nose flip phones. I had one of the original Microtacs. I think it was the 560 maybe. I had one of the original Motorola Microtacs, which was the first of the flip phones. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. But anyway, there we go. So we got our two passes in and get this rinsed off. We'll get our witch hazel going. 1912, I don't know. I'm not really discussing the razor a whole lot because what is there to say about a 1912? The thing works great. They look good. The handle is great. It's a longer handle that he made, and some people say, "Oh, well, the handle's going to change the way the balance on the head, and it does this and it does that." And who cares? Who cares? That's not the important part. Like I say, about the only time I think handle length matters is if you have really big hands, you may have issues with a little short handle. As far as the head balance and the weight on this and the weight on that and the way it feels and all that stuff, that's all technique driven. And just how it is. All righty, get a little witch hazel going on here. So I feel that when you put the witch hazel on, I don't know, maybe I don't know if it's something in it, the witch hazel extract, but it seems like you can feel the stubble that's left better with the witch hazel than you can with just either water or just your hand. It's like it makes it stand out more. I don't know. That's what it feels like. And we're going to go right back under here. And I always overshave when I do my touch-up pass. I could come down and just touch up right on my throat, which has always got a little, because I don't go against the grain, but it's always got a little sandpapery feel to it. I could just come down and touch up under here and maybe in front of the ears would be fine. I got to run over the whole thing. I just do. But shaving is the whole point of this hobby, is to shave. It's not to see how little you can do. All right. Although I guess if you're rushed in the mornings, I haven't done a how fast can Fuzzy shave here in a while. I used to do them every once in a while. All right, so there we go. So we had to go back and put some soap back in the brush because all the brush ate the soap. I don't know, maybe that's because it's so big. Maybe that's just a thing of the big brush. Someone that uses these big brushes all the time, tell me what I'm missing. And maybe I just need, when I use this brush, I'll be sure I load more soap into it. I don't feel too bad. It's the first time I used it. I'm not going to feel bad about having to go back and add a little soap to it. It don't bother me at all. All righty. So Williams Spicy Sunday, or Spicy Williams Sunday. I don't know how you would exactly word that. But anyway, what I could have done was put a little bit of the Old Spice on top of the cake of Williams, and then I would have had Spicy Williams. That's allowed. It's legal. I called the governor and I asked him. He said he ain't outlawed that. So in Louisiana anyway, that's legal. All right, boy, that good old Old Spice smell. I mean, I use the Old Spice knockoff a good bit that I used to be able to get at the dollar store that I can't get anymore. I don't know if they're making it. I can't find anywhere that's got it. The last place that had it was Fred's Dollar Stores, and they closed the damn things. Now, I've got 4 or 5 bottles of it floating around here. I know I've got some put up, but I put it up so good I can't find it. Ever done that? I do it. So, but even using the smells just like stuff, it's nice to break the real stuff out every once in a while. It really is. Okay, so that's our shave for today. We're going to clean this here blade up. You can hold it by the side. I promise it won't bite you. If you hold it by the spine, hey, I remember spine this time. Last time y'all had to help me with spine. It's not going to bite you. You can come up, you can hold it, you can dry it off nice and flat like that. It's not going to bite you. And then you can put it away for the next shave. Didn't get bit. And I clean my blade up. I'll dry my razor off here. It's ready to go back to where I store it, and everything is great and grand. So there we go. That's today's shave, Sunday, with Williams and Old Spice. And then let's look and see before we get out of here. I'm babbling on too much, but that's okay. Let's get this, get the old brush there. We rinsed the soap out of it. Let's give it a quick dry. Oh, look at that. It's already starting to bloom. Look at that. Oh, that's pretty, ain't it? Look at me, really. Let me get the rag out of my hand here. Look at that. That is a beautiful brush and handle. Look at that. Patrick, my friend, once again, thank you. Took me a while, but I got it. All right. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, happy shaves to you.